Hi everyone, I'm Zoe the Influencer, and I'm not just an influencer, but an authentic influencer. I am where authenticity meets influence. I'm a student of the University of Lagos, Nigeria, the nation's first pride.
Hello Zoe,
Hi.
it's so good to have have you around today.
Okay.
I mean, anyway, so how is Lagos? How does it feel to be a student of Lagos State University? Let's start from there first.
If you ask me that question like you just did, I would say it's fine. But if you ask me on a deeper level,
On
on
a
a
deeper
deeper
level.
level,
I
Lagos is not for
would
the
because though sometimes I feel like we feel like maybe Lagos is a place whereby when you want something freely, you just go there. And when you tell somebody that I'm staying in Lagos,
Oh,
maybe the mainland or island, people are like, well, you're doing well now. And of course, from the looks, you don't look like a student of Lagos State University. You look like a student of one kind, private, strong. I mean, how do you manage through all the hustles and everything in Lagos State?
that's a very big question. And thank you for that. How do I manage? I share my eyes. I share my eyes because it really isn't easy. To be honest, to be real, I'll keep it real. It's not easy.
How? I don't understand. What do you
Yes,
mean?
like firstly, the drivers, Lagos drivers, heading to I was coming from Yaba,
Okay.
yes, to Shomolu. So if you want to enjoy Lagos, you have to you have to be really rich.
Yeah, you have to have
It's
the
actually
money.
soft, yeah, but
Just do your normal in-drive,
yeah,
Uber, no
you
stress.
get
Normal,
no
normal.
stress. But if you want to take these public vehicles, you have to be ready for the fight and for everything.
You being in how then do we maintain purity, and I mean purity in terms of being upright, being honest,
Yes,
having
okay.
integrity, having great value and stuff like that, not doing what is contradicting the Bible and stuff like that. So how do we maintain that? For me personally, sometimes I'm like, sometimes it will just be like, let me just do this thing and nobody's
Exactly.
and when there are opportunities and you know this opportunity are kicking against your value, kicking against your stand as a believer, and then something in you wants to be like, I need this thing. Well, something is like, as if you're fighting. The first question here is that, from your own understanding, from your own context, how can you define purity, and how has the understanding of it evolved over the time?
Okay, I think purity is a word commonly known by most individuals as sexual purity. When you get the word purity, the first thing that comes to your mind is sexual intercourse. Yes. You just think about fornication, you feel like it's just religious or something.
Definitely.
Yeah, but I'm here to tell you today that purity is not just about sex. Do you get? Purity is about realness. It's about authenticity. It's about showing up. It's about consistency. Do you get? So this is my understanding of purity, and this is the second definition of purity. Then how was my understanding of this? How did I get to realize? I did get to find that this is not just the definition of purity. I got to find out about this through growth, through heartbreaks, through failure. When I mean heartbreak, I still don't mean relationship heartbreak. There are different types of heartbreaks.
Okay.
Yes.
Okay.
We can literally relate to one another, yeah? And you caused heartbreak for me.
Wow.
Yes, probably you did something that I don't like. You broke my heart. It doesn't necessarily have to be an intimate relationship.
We did not see that in Nigeria now. What is talk about heartbreak is chop
this is
break
what
fast.
I'm trying to talk about actually. Yes. So this is it. Yeah.
So that's a new one. So
yeah.
Okay, so how have your understanding of this particular context and everything, how has it really helped you grow? How have you been able to channel this mindset of, okay, this is what I know about purity, and this is mindset I have towards it, and this is how I walk towards this particular thing.
So when I'm facing challenges here, and when I mean challenge, I'm talking about struggle, and this is why the topic is purity through struggle. So when I'm facing struggles and challenges, probably I'm sick, it's a struggle. I'm sick, and as a content creator, I have to show up. My audience needs me. I have to show up nonetheless. I have to show up regardless of my situation. Regardless of what I'm facing. Yes, I just have to be there for my audience. I have to be consistent. I have to be motivated. I have to be disciplined. Do you get? I have to show efforts that yes, this is what I want, this is what I'm trying to be. I have to be real. This is when authenticity comes in. I don't have to fake it till I make it, like the world wants. Because this is when purity comes in. Purity is not about perfection. It's about the real you. It's about you being pure, unrefined, undiluted, real. Or I read books. Yes, I read books that are talking about different things. Books on relationships, books on financial intelligence, books on growth, books on how to deal with the personal relationships. Then number 5, I don't just pray. I talk to God. I make it a conversation. I tell God that I'm impure and this is why I want to be purified. I want to be disciplined. I want to be motivated. I want to motivate. I want to be the one to motivate myself. That when I look at my past, I say that yes, I'm not stagnant.
Be able to encourage yourself.
Yes, to strengthen yourself in the Lord. Do you get? But this is what I do. Then I tell God that this is my flow. This is where I am failing. I'm falling short, and I need your help. And this is very important. But I don't just call it prayer. I call it conversation. This is when relationship comes in with God.
Wow. Yes. Okay. So
those books, I realized that I was the cause of my struggle.
Okay.
Yes, wow. I was the cause of my struggle. And there's this my boss, he calls himself ECN. He tells me something. He says, if you want to make money, you should sell something. Then I gathered all these informations, because if you are not informed, you are deformed. And that is why you have to be informed. Then I gathered these informations and I started that business again. So the second time I started the business was when you got to know, and that was when we went to IYC.
Yeah,
and I went there with the purpose. Yes, people will go for programs and they feel like I want to be revived. I went to that program to share my
you brought I can't like a box. I was like, you serious? And the worst was that you sold thinking of over 100 and something.
It was 99 actually.
And you sold down to I think it was remaining 7, and it was
remaining 11.
And you were crying. I was like, how can you be crying for not selling a whole full chick? And you out of 99,
I had a goal and I didn't reach that goal, so I was hurt.
I was like, you can cry for chichi?
Yeah.
That was the first time I saw something like that. I was like, my God, but then that was when I actually envied your strength. I was like, I mean, who will bring chinchin to a particular place and you literally sold half of, not even half, more than 80% of what you brought, and you are crying. Program never finished.
100. That was why I was crying.
I was like, and the worst part was that the program was even just, I think that was the last day.
No, second to the last.
Was the last?
I cannot remember.
And then you were still angry and crying.
I was disappointed in myself because I expected better. I knew why I went there, and my expectation was not coming to reality. So I was down. I felt like if I had voiced out more, I would have sold more.
But then there are some people that I know of my youth, my generation, they'll be like, at least I don't try now. I sold out of 99, I sold 50. Question and my concern is now, despite going through all of this, trying to meet up to target, trying to do it. So but then I don't know if you can share a personal experience whereby your struggle led to growth or deeper purpose. Yes, deeper sense of purpose.
Yeah.
Whereby maybe you were going you were in a particular situation, or you were struggling through some things, and then coming out of that, you can maybe reflect to it, and you're like, okay, this is actually what this particular thing taught me, or this thing, that particular like you're an authentic influencer, so you should have authentic struggles. Something like that.
Real struggles.
Exactly. Those things
and relatable struggles.
That you were like contemplating between compromising your value and then maintaining your value. So how did you?
Okay. In regards to this, compromising. Well, I didn't compromise. Okay. So this happened when I started my first business and it crashed. We both know the business I started. Exactly. So I started a teaching business, Zoe Confectionaries. I faced a lot before and after the business. I started that business when I just finished secondary school after working for a carton producing company for 3 months, and I saw Shaggy in that company. So I started that business 2024 April. That was when I was writing my JAMB, because I finished secondary school 2023 and I did not write JAMB. Then this business crashed because I had not read books on financial intelligence, so I didn't know what to do with my profits. I spent everything and I used to buy food. I That was what I used that money for. I can really remember.
Oh God.
Then I was depressed because I made something reasonable out of it, and I was depressed. I went into depression. I was just thinking, because there's no way I can be my papa. I wasn't even going to school. Then I decided that I was going to give a break. That was June. After I went for a program, a mind shifting program of Lawrence Oyo at K2. June 14. I can never forget that day. So that was when there was a shift of my mind. There was a shift of my mentality, and I decided to read about financial intelligence before venturing into the business again. And the first book I read was Smart Money Woman by Arese Ugu. That book changed everything about me.
Wow.
Yes. Then I read Rich Dad Poor Dad.
So this brings me to the final question of the day, and so my final question is, how do you navigate PUT through struggle, being a student, being a believer, and in terms of even your content creating and everything? So how do you navigate through?
Okay, thank you for the question. I like the fact that you put the being a believer. Yeah. So basically, God helped me find my purpose, and this is when purity comes in. It made me understand that I don't necessarily have to fake it till I make it. I don't necessarily have to compromise to get what I want. And I don't necessarily have to be unauthentic. I have to be real. And this is when purity comes in. Purity is not about perfection. It's about showing up. It's about consistency. It's about the real you. I come with my flaws because I'm imperfect. I'm human.
That's true. That's
true. So how do I balance? One, what I do is I journal. Yes, I have a book. I write down my plans, my goals, what I want, and I reflect. I see how far I've gone and how far I've come. I check. Yes, do you get? Yes. And I have an affirmation. Okay. But basically, I don't call it affirmation. I call it declaration, because there's a difference between affirmation and declaration. Affirmation is when you want something, but declaring is when you don't even believe, you know you have it already. Do you get? So I declare every morning when I wake up, and it works. Believe me when I say it works. So that's number 2 thing I do. Number 3 is I have a timetable. I have a scheduled time. You don't like, that is why I don't pick calls to an extent. So you have to tell me when you want to call me, because I have scheduled time. Each hour counts. So I'm very occupied. Yeah, so I have time for everything.
We just want to let you know that yes, the struggle is real, and also yes, you can go through this struggle and not compromise. You don't need to disvalue yourself to please anybody. All you need to do is just stay on the right purpose and stay on God's will. But as you say, it is difficult to serve God as a Christian, but I believe that with everything that Zoe the Influencer has said so far, one way or the other, 1 or 2 things should be able to help you there. So thank you very much for connecting with us today. Thank you very much for